Hi, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are diving into the 5 key reasons why Russia's nuclear missile strike, if ever attempted, is likely to fail.
Russia's nuclear missile program, once a central pillar of Soviet military might, now faces several critical challenges. These challenges stem from a combination of outdated technology, inadequate maintenance, and evolving geopolitical complications. Recent events, including failed missile tests, have underscored the precarious state of Russia's nuclear arsenal, raising doubts about the country's ability to carry out a successful nuclear strike. Below, we explore 5 key reasons why any potential nuclear missile strike by Russia is likely to fail. A significant portion of Russia's intercontinental ballistic missile arsenal relies on technology from the Cold War era. Many of these missiles, such as the RS-28 Sarmat, were designed in the 1970s and 1980s, meaning they are now several decades old. While these missiles were once considered cutting-edge, the passage of time has eroded their reliability. Recent tests of Russia's ICBMs have demonstrated the limitations of this aging technology. A notable failure occurred in 2023 when the RS-28 Sarmat missile, which is a centerpiece of Russia's strategic nuclear deterrent, exploded in its launch silo during a test. This failure, along with others, reflects a broader trend. Russia's reliance on antiquated Soviet-era systems is catching up with it. For comparison, while the US has upgraded its nuclear forces with advanced missile technology, Russia has struggled to do the same. The US Minuteman III ICBM program, for example, has seen a much higher rate of successful tests, with the most recent test in 2024 being completed without issue. By contrast, Russian missiles have a failure rate estimated at over 30%, further undermining confidence in their ability to function when needed. One of the most critical reasons for the decline in Russia's nuclear missile capabilities is poor maintenance, exacerbated by a lack of technical expertise. Many of Russia's nuclear missiles were built in Soviet-era factories located in Ukraine, which was once a key player in the Soviet military-industrial complex. Facilities in Dnipro, for example, manufactured essential components of the SS-18 Satan ICBM, a missile still in use by Russia today. Following the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Ukraine became independent, but it continued to provide technical support and maintenance for these missiles. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2014 and the full-scale war in 2022, these maintenance ties have been severed. The Russian military no longer has access to the Ukrainian expertise that once kept its ICBM fleet operational. As a result, critical missile systems are not being properly maintained, leading to a higher rate of test failures. According to recent estimates, up to 20% of Russia's ICBMs are not operational due to maintenance issues, further eroding the credibility of their nuclear deterrent. This lack of upkeep is exacerbated by Russia's inability to produce replacement parts domestically. The missiles require complex components that Russia can no longer easily manufacture due to Western sanctions and the loss of technical knowledge following the collapse of the Soviet Union. The performance of Russia's ICBMs in recent tests further highlights the challenges facing its nuclear arsenal. In the past 2 years, several high-profile missile tests have ended in failure. In addition to the RS-28 Sarmat silo explosion in 2023, there have been reports of multiple failures of the R-36M II Voyevoda missile, which has been in service since the 1980s. These failures contrast sharply with the success rates of US ICBM tests. The Minuteman III, the primary US ICBM, has a long track record of successful tests. In 2022 alone, the US conducted 3 Minuteman III tests, all of which were completed without failure. This disparity suggests that Russia's nuclear strike capability is not as reliable as it might have been in the past. According to reports from Western intelligence agencies, more than 30% of Russia's recent ICBM tests have ended in failure, compared to a failure rate of less than 10% for the United States. Russia's geopolitical isolation, particularly following its invasion of Ukraine, has further diminished its nuclear strike capability. Western sanctions have made it increasingly difficult for Russia to access the materials and technology needed to maintain and modernize its nuclear arsenal. For example, key components of missile guidance systems rely on microelectronics that Russia can no longer easily acquire due to export controls imposed by the United States, the European Union, and their allies. Additionally, Russia's isolation has hindered its ability to collaborate with foreign experts on missile development and maintenance. Historically, Russian missile programs benefited from cooperation with Ukrainian specialists. With these relationships severed, Russia is left to rely on an increasingly isolated defense sector, which has not kept pace with global technological advancements. Meanwhile, Ukraine has moved closer to Western defense companies, with Rheinmetall and other firms establishing facilities in Ukraine to support its military capabilities. Many of the missile silos and launch systems in Russia's nuclear arsenal are decades old, with some dating back to the early 1970s. The infrastructure supporting these systems is deteriorating, raising the risk of catastrophic failure during a missile launch. In some cases, missile silos have been found to be poorly maintained, with signs of corrosion and structural degradation. In contrast, the United States has invested heavily in maintaining and modernizing its nuclear infrastructure. The US Department of Defense allocates billions of dollars annually to the upkeep of its nuclear forces, ensuring that missile silos, launch control centers, and other critical infrastructure remain in good condition. By comparison, Russia's defense budget is strained by the ongoing war in Ukraine, limiting its ability to invest in its nuclear forces. Russia's nuclear missile strike capabilities are facing serious challenges due to outdated technology, poor maintenance, and geopolitical isolation. The reliance on Soviet-era ICBMs, compounded by a lack of technical expertise and the failure of recent missile tests, paints a grim picture of Russia's nuclear readiness. While the United States continues to maintain a modern and highly reliable nuclear arsenal, Russia's deteriorating infrastructure and missile systems raise significant doubts about its ability to execute a successful nuclear strike. Ultimately, these factors combine to make any potential nuclear strike by Russia more likely to fail than succeed. As the geopolitical landscape continues to evolve, Russia's nuclear deterrent, once a symbol of Soviet power, now faces an uncertain future.